Okay, here's a follow-up video to our last one. Our last one, we, whatever, talked about fees. This time we're going to talk about letter of credit fees on sculpting. Now, the problem with this one, this is where it starts getting just horrible. Because the letter of credit is driven by the debt service. The debt service is driven by the sculpting, and you get a circular reference. So to introduce this letter of credit fees business, I put another one of these exercises in here for you. In this exercise, we're going to make a copy and paste. Use the copy and paste method and show you how it's messy. And we're going to move to in a subsequent video. We're gonna move to a function. Okay, now let's go through this. So what we're going to do is compute the target debt service. Then the fees, we'll just put some fixed fees, but then these letter of credit fees we're going to put in. And I'm just going to tell you, we're going to get these from the fixed fees. I'll try to get them from just non-fixed fees. And we'll have this circular reference. Then we'll figure out how to get the fees through looking at the next period debt service. Okay, and then we'll work through the debt and see that our repayment still has to have this repayment function where it's the target debt service minus the interest minus fees and all that stuff. And then we'll get the closing balance and the interest and all that. And then we'll just kind of put these back really quickly to show you that the LC fees, if they're part of the denominator of the debt service coverage ratio, they create the mess. Okay, and then we'll compute this thing where the adjusted debt service, maybe I should put this, debt service is the target debt service minus the fees, including the LC fees. Okay, and let's try to figure out why this circular reference occurs and why it's so bad. And there's no real way to get this circular reference off except copying and pasting the entire line. That means if you've got this big model, you've got to go and put a copy-paste macro that's not only in one cell, that's an entire line. I just hate that. Sorry, did I make some noise? I'm sorry about the noise. I just fiddled with the microphone thing with my headphones. Okay, I hope there's not noise in the background. I got these headphones on. I don't even know if there's any noise. There's a little construction at this cheap little hotel I'm staying at, which is a very nice hotel. Okay, now, so let's start this. Okay, our standard thing is first to take our cash flow and divide it by the debt service, shift control R, take the fees, just copy that across so I'm not doing any of the, timing and all that stuff. And then now the LC fees, let's leave that out for a minute. So the closing balance of our debt, we don't know yet. We're going to get it. Here's where we're going to get it from. We're going to have to do some kind of net present value formula, which I left here. Could have had you do that easily. Okay. And then the opening balance is the closing balance. And now the repayment is our target debt service minus the interest, minus the fixed fees, but also minus the letter of credit fees. So the closing balance is the opening balance minus that, and our interest is the opening balance. Did I do that right? I didn't. Opening balance multiplied by the interest rate with the F4. Okay, shift control R, and we of course don't have our correct. I didn't have to do that. I could press shift control 7 quickly. Okay. shortcut keys. I think you should just have your favorite shortcut keys. Getting one of these stupid lists is, what a waste of time that is. You can get 100 shortcut keys. And then our fees, I'm going to put on our fixed fees, Shift Control R. I hope you like that shortcut key. We don't know the LC fees. And we'll put our repayment here. And then we'll get our total debt service. And for some reason it works because we haven't put our LC in. And we get our debt service coverage ratio, which should be, excuse me, it should be this divided by this. And we better, as normal, put a if statement and put the E27 in here. Okay, Shift Control R. Now we take our debt service, our target debt service, and subtract off the fees, and we're also going to subtract off the LC fees. They're no different. And then we get our beautiful result that we want right here. Okay, but of course we're not finished because we haven't put the LC in. Now to get the LC in, you go to the next period debt service like this. And if the rule is that you have to have a letter of credit like a DSRA account that's a function of the debt service, that's where it's a problem. Now, what did I do here? I think I put 2 forward years. I'm going to make it much simpler and just put 1, meaning that the required balance is just the next period fees. Now, we could, if we're making this on the ending balance, we still could take that last number. This time you could, there's another trick you could have used, but I'm going to say that we're going to multiply that by our fee rate, okay? That's our fee rate. And then let's try this. So let's try to put the LC fees up here. Okay, we put that up here. And then the repayment, we put minus the letter of credit fees. Okay. And we put the letter of credit fees in the debt service reserve calculation. And I better make sure that I don't have the options and the formulas and iterative calculation. I was just in the class. And we have a circular reference. And let's try to understand. Oh, this is a bad one. The LC fee drives the balance, it drives it drives the rate and all that. Now, what we could do is, let's try to do this. Let's say, okay, well, it's just the NPV calculation. So let's say I just Control-C, Alt, Edit, Paste Special as values. And we still get a circular reference. That's the problem. We need to, so I just undid that. We need to copy the whole line of the fees. That's the only way. I mean, I should explain this. LC fees are always looking forward. I think that's the problem. Now, if you copy this and edit paste special as values, and then you go up to the top and say, okay, our LC fees that hopefully drive everything come from this fixed fee down here. Okay. Shift Control R, then we get rid of it. But that means we have to do a copy and paste on the whole thing. And we take the difference. Now, when you get something like this and the difference goes to 0 immediately, I always suspect that there's not we over kind of did the thing. Just a minute. I'm going to have to pause for just a second. Okay, I was just checking to see if I did something wrong, and I really don't think I have. So here's the issue. I'll do it again. Okay, I just changed the LC. Let's put the LC 5%. Let's make it enormous. Of course, that's an absurd assumption. Don't think that I believe that that's the right level. Now, if instead this fixed fee comes from this one, we get a circular reference. So we continue to get a circular reference. I'm kind of redoing what I just did. And then we copy this and edit paste special as values. And then the difference goes to 0. I suppose we can see if that difference is exactly 0. Well, maybe it is. I mean, okay. I can't see any if you can solve it in one iteration, it's kind of a unique one. Okay, let me go backwards, Control Z. Okay, and so let's make our copy and paste macro. And what we needed to do was simply copy and paste this one. We didn't have to do anything else. So what we can do is kind of put this as LC computed. I'll just use an LC fixed. I just made up a new thing. So you just select these areas, Shift Control F3. Let's start recording a macro, Shift Control M if you've got the generic macros, and then just I'll put LC copy paste. Okay, and then we go always to the computed, Control SV values, and copy it to the fixed. Okay, I did it right. It seemed to take a minute. Escape to get rid of thing. And then we go back to our developer tab and our macros and look for that one we just computed, which was LC copy paste. Okay, and it seemed to put it in a new one. And then I don't have to go to the right, and I put LC underscore computed. No, yes, we take the computed. We don't need to copy it to the right, and we go to, and we copy that, and then we put LC fixed. I don't need to really capitalize it. I hope that's what I did. Now, in this one, let's just see, and then I put application cut copy false. That's just by pressing that escape button. Okay, so let's see if this really works. Let's do a couple of different tests on this. Okay, we'll make our macro and go to the copy and paste. Okay, this copy and paste stuff is about the easiest thing you can do almost. It's not complicated. That's the advantage of the copy and paste. And anybody who makes this private and all this crap, what a joke. Okay, let's put this back to 1%, and we're not going to do any iteration loops, and it's okay. It works. Okay, let's put this to 20%. And let's see if it works. And how about just to test it out, maybe we should change some others. Let's change the DSCR to 1.2, the interest rate to 7%, the flat fees to 10. Let's change everything, and let's change this down to 10%. And then we put a copy and paste, and it still works. So I suppose the good news about this copy and paste is it does, you don't need an iteration. Okay, don't put an iteration if you don't need it. Now, what we can do also is, this was irritating that was going to the wrong place. So we can put current cell, cell equals active, I don't need, cell dot range, and then we can at the very end put range, and then put current cell dot select. And if you don't, and it sometimes doesn't work, so I put activate. Probably still won't work. And then so let's try it one more time. And let's change the LC fees back to 2%. And it's address, not range. I made that mistake on purpose. I knew that. I just couldn't quite remember it. Okay. So let's try it again. And then it takes you back. Okay. So that's our copy paste for the LC fees. right? And that's the end of this video. It's not that long.